The thing is that this case isn't just about one bad thing that Sean did or one bad relationship that Sean had. This is about a man in power who weaponized it for years. And now that there's justice trying to be brought forward, there's still an attempt to lie, manipulate, and change the narrative. The P Diddy case is already off to a very weird start. Today's topic is very heavy. It's about the ongoing federal trial of Sean Diddy Combs, who's facing multiple serious allegations such as sex trafficking and racketeering. Today is one of the more heavier topics, so I want to preface this video by saying that this is a sensitive subject. We're talking about abuse, power imbalances, and manipulation. It's heavy, but it's super important. This video is not about cancel culture. It's about accountability and the systems that have allowed this kind of behavior to go on quietly for years, and what do we do now that the truth is brought to surface. As always, I'm not claiming to be the news. I research, I form my thoughts, and then I give you everything through my lens. If I get anything wrong, please kindly correct me in the comments. So Sean Combs, also known as Diddy, is a huge figure in the music business. He built Bad Boy Records, helped launch the careers of many artists you see today, and even expanded into fashion. This empire that he meticulously created is now at the center of a federal investigation alleging decades of abuse, trafficking, and exploitation. For the rest of this video, I will be referring to him as Sean or Mr. Combs, as that's how he's being addressed in court. Yes, we all know him as Diddy, but regardless of his public persona and stage names, he's now in court. So we'll address him as Sean or Mr. Combs, just to treat this video with the seriousness that it should be treated with, because this is a very, like I said, sensitive topic. So what is this trial all about? This trial began in May 2025 in Manhattan Federal Court. Sean is facing many federal charges such as trafficking, racketeering, and conspiracy. I want to add, when people hear conspiracy, they usually think of conspiracy theories. That's not necessarily the case here. In this case, we'll go by the actual definition of conspiracy. Conspiracy is defined as a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. So that's what it means in this case. And I also want to make sure that you guys know these are not just civil claims. This is not a civil trial, okay? This is the federal government prosecuting him. The case includes disturbing allegations that go as far back as 20 years ago. Continuing on to what this trial is really about, prosecutors claim that he hosted these things called freak-offs. They were private parties where women were exploited, trafficked, and sometimes drugged. And these weren't just isolated events. Prosecutors are building a case that this was somehow tied to his power and influence that he has in the industry. As all cases and trials go, what do we know about the victims and witnesses that will be involved? 3 key victims are mentioned in the court filings. This is kind of where news gets a little bit more alarming, because victim 3 has suddenly gone missing. According to officials, she hasn't been found and she was expected to testify. And this is just raising even more concerns about, the danger and the alleged abuse that basically Sean has been putting these women through. Meanwhile, we do have one named victim, Cassie Ventura. She is Sean's ex-girlfriend. Sean's legal team is trying to frame their relationship as mutually abusive. Prosecutors are, of course, just saying that this is a distraction from the actual abuse and that it was indeed probably not mutual. So now that we know who Sean is, what the trial is about, the victims and the witnesses involved, where do we stand today? So jury selection has went underway, and there's going to be a lot of jurors with personal experience with sexual assault, which is kind of going to make the trial even more sensitive. They're going to try their best, obviously, to remain unbiased. Opening statements are set to begin soon, as early as May 12th. Right now, Sean remains in a detention center in Brooklyn, and he pleads not guilty. Now on my channel, we love to hear from others, and I want to show you guys some other creators and their perspective just on what's been given so far with the case.
20 names have just been released as potential witnesses in Diddy's upcoming trial. In layman's terms, this is the list of people that they are going to run by potential jurors to see if there's, any type of biasness or knowledge of said person that can be called as a witness. Now, I'm gonna be real. 19 of these names I could see of people not knowing, but I find it very, very tough to find a potential juror that does not know, or at least has not heard of Kanye West. Even if you find somebody that don't even know Kanye West's music, all the other things that he makes the airwaves for, I'm sure somebody has at least heard that name. I'm very interested in seeing the final 12 people that they put together to be the jury on this trial. And I'm interested as to why some of these people will be called as witnesses. Like, I see Meek, I see Justin, Young Miami, of course, Kid Cudi. Those are the ones that I see, like, potentially actually being called by the prosecution. Why is names like Future, Tory Lanez, Lil Baby, Michael B. Jordan, Prince Harry, like, why would they be called?
It's getting real. Cassie Ventura has arrived in New York to testify against Diddy. As many of you know, victim number one is Cassie Ventura, who is going to be a star witness and is going to testify against Diddy. And now we are finding out that she has made it to New York City ahead of trial starting on Monday. Now that we know that she has arrived to New York City right before Diddy's trial, I have a feeling that her testimony is probably going to be one of the first testimonies that we hear in trial against Diddy. We know out of the 4 alleged victims who are going to testify against Diddy, only Cassie Ventura right now is going to testify with her full name being known to the public. We've been hearing a lot recently about victim number 3 who has gone missing, and the feds are unable to get a hold of her. After last week, she said that she was going to testify with her name being known to the public. Now, I just caught this article on TMZ, and I am sorry, something about this is not sitting right with me. This article that TMZ just posted said that victim number 3 never cooperated with the feds, and she never said she was going to testify. Even though I literally have court documents last week who said that she was ready to testify with her real name being known to the public, because at first she was going to testify under pseudonym, and Diddy was actually fighting all 3 victims who wanted to testify under pseudonym, except Cassie Ventura, because from the beginning, Cassie was ready to testify with her name being known to the public. Crazy part is, in prior court hearings before this whole jury selection, Diddy's team even talked about this. They said that they talked to the Jane Doe's lawyer, who at the time before she came out and said she for sure didn't want to testify under pseudonym, that she was like, not really feeling the pseudonyms at all, and they brought this up during court. And in my opinion, I feel like this article is a bunch of BS to try to get to the jury pool. I really, really do. Now all of a sudden, a source told TMZ that victim 3 never wanted to cooperate with the feds and she never wanted to testify. Now I really want to know, TMZ, who is your source that you got this information from? Because if this is what they are saying, they're obviously somebody that's really close to Diddy's team, right? Is it Mark Garagos, who just got yelled at by the judge? Mark Garagos was called out by the judge for talking to Harvey Levin on 2 Angry Men about information about this trial. He was also trying to characterize all of these different things. He was calling the prosecution a 6-pack of white women. He was also saying that the Cassie video was just basically a setup and they were attacking Diddy because he was a black man. And this whole thing got so bad that the judge actually called out Mark Garagos and said that he is going to be watching Harvey Levin and Mark's podcast, 2 Angry Men, to make sure no more information like this is getting sent to the public because it could affect the jury. So in my opinion, I think this whole article that TMZ just wrote is a whole bunch of BS, because we already know she did cooperate with the feds. Last week, she said, I don't even want to use a pseudonym. Go ahead, I want to testify with my real name. No matter what the case is with this Jane Doe, if she doesn't show up, whether she was scared, whether she was paid off, because something is really fishy about this. I don't know what the case may be, but I hope they know that they can use this Jane Doe's deposition that she gave in the investigation against Diddy if she doesn't show up to testify. And no, it won't be as strong as having her there testifying just like Cassie Ventura and the other 2 victims, but that doesn't mean that it's over for Diddy. Whatever evidence, whatever information, whatever testimony she gave up for her to be added as victim number 3 will still be brought up with or without her testimony. So to say that she was never cooperating with the feds this whole entire time is just ridiculous. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Shout out to those creators. I really enjoyed hearing their perspectives. And actually something a little more lighthearted that I kind of wanted to bring up in this video is there's a video going around of the judge walking into the courthouse with headphones and a backpack on. People are hating on him, saying that he just looks way too casual dealing with Sean, or, P Diddy and all, the accusations he's been going through. And I just think that this is like people realizing that people have a life outside their occupation. I'm sure that the judge is going to be just as ready to tackle into the case, whether he walks in with headphones or not. He's allowed to be comfortable outside his workspace. I just thought that was really funny. Now that we've heard all the information, it's time to get into Mind Over Media. Welcome to Mind Over Media, which is my mind over the media. We get to hear about my perspectives on the controversy. As always, no harm is intended. These are just my opinions. So Sean's defense's strategy is to paint that his relationship with his ex-girlfriend Cassie was a mutually abusive relationship, right? The thing is that this case isn't just about one bad thing that Sean did or one bad relationship that Sean had. This is about a man in power who weaponized it for years. And now that there's justice trying to be brought forward, there's still an attempt to lie, manipulate, and change the narrative. The fact that a key victim to this case is now missing, I think, should be extremely alarming to everyone. It really can show how deep that this case can really go. And yes, this is a case about sexual assault, racketeering, trafficking, but I also think that there could be an even bigger picture to paint here, okay? We have to talk about class and power dynamic, because this isn't just about Sean. This is about Hollywood as a whole. Time and time again, Hollywood allows powerful and wealthy individuals to prey on the vulnerable, or people who aren't as successful as certain people in the industry, people who are trying to make it in the industry. There's initiations, there's trafficking, there's so much that happens to people who are trying to make it in the industry. Okay, it's demonic. Like, I know people always say that, oh my god, Hollywood conspiracy theorists, they're so annoying, and nothing crazy is going on in Hollywood. But I just think that the behavior that goes on in Hollywood, if not Hollywood itself, is demonic. Many of these victims don't come from privilege. They're either not famous, or they don't have $1 million legal team, or they just don't have a voice. Sometimes they don't even have a choice. They were manipulated with promises of success, threatened with the loss of opportunity, or silenced with hush money. And this is a pattern we have seen for years, guys. When the rich and powerful commit harm, they are able to escape the consequences if they have enough money. I believe that the justice system is not designed to protect the voiceless, but to empower those with money or status. Just look at how long it took for cases like R. Kelly or Harvey Weinstein to even see the courtroom. You know what I mean? Sean is not the first. Unfortunately, if we don't do anything about it now, he won't be the last. What happens in Hollywood is a much bigger reflection on our society as a whole as well. If you have fame or money or status, you can weaponize that to keep people quiet. And for decades, it has been working, and it will continue to work if we don't do something about it. And I'm not sure what more we can do besides listen to people and listen to victims who tell their stories. Overall, slowly people are speaking out, and that is what matters. We need to listen to their stories, need to be heard, and even if things don't always make it to the courtroom, the important thing is that we hear them. But we've heard enough from me, now it's time to hear from you guys. What do you think it says about our justice system when wealth and status kind of shape accountability? What do you guys think about Sean's defense strategy trying to paint him and Cassie's relationship as mutually abusive? And what do you guys think about the entirety of Hollywood? Do you guys think that it is a good job at hushing victims? Or do you guys think that this is just kind of a coincidence and it has nothing to do with Hollywood? What do you guys think? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And yeah, okay, love you. Bye. Mwah.